What's up, y'all? It's Elgin Woodside with the Workman Network, and we back at it with another video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. All new people, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. All people who are revisiting the channel, thank you for being a great listener and great fan, audience, supporter of my content and what I do. So today I just want to talk about my journey. I want to expand on that last video I did where I pretty much talked about my journey from becoming an engineer, going into real estate, and then going into car dealerships. So I really want to go deeper into why I chose engineering and pretty much how anyone who's interested in STEM can use that to leverage their skills that they're learning at their day-to-day job to go into other avenues. So just breaking that whole process down. So first things first, again, thank you for tuning in. This is the Workman Network, where I just give men value on how to become the best version of themselves. And engineering, the reason why I chose engineering, as we all know, engineers are known to make good money right out of college without having to do pretty much like a 6 or 8 year program. You could finish the program in 4 to 5 years. I myself finished in 4, and I was able to leverage that to make a substantial amount of money compared to any entry level position that you'll get with any other major. So engineering it creates a lot of leverage that you can use to save more money and invest your money early on in your career, which people say the earlier you invest, the better. So why not choose a profession that's going to allow you to make more money out the gate than any other profession? So let's get that out the way first. That's the reason why I chose engineering. But the reason why I was exposed to it, I would have to say, was definitely my mom, my parents. My mom was a nurse. Well, she isn't. And she introduced me to the STEM field at an early age. When I was about 9 years old, I started going to engineering camps and STEM camps. I know a lot of y'all probably saying y'all haven't had that same experience, so you can't really relate to it. But honestly, I've met a lot of engineers, when I was at Tuskegee, the place where I studied engineering at, who did not get introduced to engineering until high school or till really late in their middle school years. So I think that it's something that you can get into if you get into it early enough, like before you decide to go to college. I would say if you're already in your major and you're deep into it and getting it, then you might want to stick with it, with the major that you have, and then just try a different skill set. But if you're still thinking about what your major is going to be and you haven't gone to college yet, I would say consider the STEM field engineering, because you can always use engineering. Engineering is in everything that we do. Like this camera that I'm talking in, somebody had to create that. This computer that we're streaming on, somebody had to create that. They had to come up with that. So that's why I would say engineering is a great field to get into. Now let's kind of get into what happened after I finished school and got into the actual workforce. So as we all know, school is nothing like, well, I ain't gonna say it's nothing like. School is not exactly like what the real world is like. You do use a lot of your technical background, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of things that you have to learn on the job that really don't require technical skills. It's more of you understanding the system that you're being put into and the people that you're working with. I expected my job to have a lot more direct engineering application to it, which we still use a lot of it, but when you're in school, you're just chugging through problems, going through heat transfer, thermodynamics, a lot of these things. But jobs, what they do is they create systems to where they can knock out all the repetitive tasks to where you don't have to continue to do them anymore. So for example, once I do a calculation one time, I can pretty much reverse engineer that situation if it comes up again and plug in the new numbers and get that same answer again. So you don't have to redo it all over. Like if somebody asks you a problem in school, you have to redo that entire thing from start to finish in order to get full credit. But in the real world, you can kind of plug and play a little bit. Also, there's a lot of human element of your workforce that you don't learn in school. So with engineering, I have to communicate a lot. I have to communicate with the production team, the maintenance team, our inspectors, just to make sure that we're all on the same page and getting things done. And I really enjoy that. But I would say being an engineer you're more of a problem solver than somebody who's like a mathematician. So think about yourself as a problem solver, because that's really how you get paid and how you get money, is you become a problem solver and you create value for your company. And honestly, this is something that I was able to do early on in my career, was create a lot of value just with my competitive spirit, because when I was in college I played baseball. So that automatically made me like more competitive than most people. So I would always want to execute the most projects or solve the most problems. Like if a piece of equipment seemed like it was trending in the wrong direction, I would try to figure out what can we do to optimize this and maximize its production capability. Like, I'm always thinking of ways to improve things. So that's how I was able early on in my career to kind of make a name for myself as a problem solver and somebody who's like a doer and a go-getter. And I would say that's probably the number one thing that you can do when you're new to a place, is start solving problems that other people haven't solved yet, or just producing more than what other people are doing. And that's basically how I was able to leverage those events and challenges and turn that into me progressing into more of a team lead role. So right now I'm a reliability engineering team lead. So I have other engineers that I work alongside and that I help support. And I was able to do that at very, very early on in the career. So I'm just excited to see how that growth, keeps progressing. And as an engineer, mainly where I work, my main responsibilities is making sure that we do things safely, make sure we run the plant efficiently, reliably. Our equipment stays, in good working condition. The integrity of the material isn't compromised. Just continue to find ways to progress and make us better as a whole. And also, first things first is to keep people safe. Make sure they go home the same way that they came in. And I like to do that because it involves a lot of collaboration. If you're a collaborative person, engineering is a great field, because you have to network with a large group of people in order to solve problems. It's very difficult to solve problems with just talking to yourself or just sitting at your desk. You have to go out in the field and figure out what happened, talk to other people, find out what the root cause was, analyze data. Just it's just a lot of skills that you learn being an engineer. And then honestly, most recently, I was able to take part in us swapping out our chlorine compressor, because if you don't know, I work at a chemical manufacturing facility, and I was able to lead the project where we swapped out our main, compressor that moves our chlorine through our system and our process, and put in a whole new compressor. This only happens like once every 10, 15 years sometimes. So just to be a part of that is a very rare occasion, and I was able to see that process from start to finish, and that was very rewarding for me. And people, it put me in a light to where people can see my work, see my attention to detail, see my tenacity, see the way that I execute jobs and how I collaborate with other people to get things done. I think just finding your way to just make yourself known for something, like make yourself known. Even if you don't go into engineering, go into something to where you can make a huge impact in the marketplace. That's just the way that you gain value. And lastly, I just want to say thank you again for tuning in. I'm not going to hold you guys too long. Like I said, I'm going to go into some of the smaller details of my journey just to kind of expand on the ideas that we laid out in the first video. So next, I'm going to go more into my real estate journey and how give you more insight on how that has made me who I am, and some of the successes and stories that I could share from there. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.